Welcome back to 18 News. Time once again for a weekly visit to the Dubois County Humane Society. However, it's the other way around, as the Humane Society and Crisis Connection has come to join us here at outside the studios of 18 WJTS here in Jasper. And Donna Hopkins is with us again this week, as always. And also joining us this week is Paula Rasche, the Executive Director of Crisis Connection. And Donna, I'm just going to turn the mic over to you and let you explain what's going on today. And we got a lot of special things to talk about.
Wonderful. Today is National Adopt a Dog from the Shelter. And George is my own personal dog, and he is a rescue dog, and so he's kind of the poster child for us. But it's also National Month of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and that's why we brought Paula in on this. What we have discovered at the Humane Society is when a dog or a cat is being called in to us saying somebody is neglecting or abusing an animal, many times we will see that goes into the family, and the spouse or the children are also victims of neglect or abuse. So that's why we wanted to bring Paula in to tie in how our organizations deal with similar problems but with different species. They with the humans, we with the animals. So I'm going to turn this over to Paula to let her talk about what they find, and then I'll sum it up with what we find and then finish up the good stuff.
Okay, great opportunity for us. This being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, all month we're trying to increase the awareness across the community, so appreciate you thinking of us. Crisis Connection, we're the only agency in the area focused on both providing services to those impacted by domestic violence and dedicating resources to preventing the problem from happening in the first place. And 1 in 4 women are victim of domestic violence at some point in their lives, and 1 in 7 men are also victimized. And pets, pets are a big part of the American family anymore. We don't do a census to know how many pets there are,
right.
But what we do know is that children are more likely to have a pet in the home than to have both their parents living with them. So pets are a big part of what's going on in America. There's, unfortunately, domestic violence isn't just physical abuse, like a lot of people think. It involves, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, and psychological abuse. And sometimes pets and children are affected when it comes to both the physical and the psychological abuse elements. And we have people that come to us that say they can't leave because they don't have a place to go with their pet.
Yes.
And they don't want to leave out of fear of leaving the pet behind, but also they don't want to leave that attachment that they have to that animal.
Right.
And I'm sure you see that.
That's exactly right. What we run into is sometimes we will tell you that we get an animal that is no fault of their own. Many times that's kind of the cue word for they were in an abused or neglected situation, or the family was, and they had to move to a place that did not allow pets, and that's why they had to surrender their animal to us. And they know how bad life can be, and so they want as good a life for their animal as possible, and that's why they bring them to us. Yes.
And I know that we've heard that 71% of women pet owners that seek shelter report that their pets were either harmed or there was threat of harm, or they had a pet that was killed by their perpetrator. So it's a huge issue. There's nobody, children and pets are a lot of times secondary victims or second primary victims. We also, we know we deal with locally. We don't have a shelter per se. We provide safe homes, and we have limited access for pet owners, and so we oftentimes are struggling. We can find there's generous individuals in the community that will foster for us.
Yes.
But that's, our victims need their pets more than ever. The pets are kind of part of a solution for. A lot of victims suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and pets help with that.
You betcha. And then to go along with that, when you hear us pleading to the community that we're needing fosters, we don't go into a lot of detail sometimes what it is, but there are times where the family is in a crisis situation and they need a place for their pets to be temporarily until they can get in a more stable situation. So if you're saying, boy, I think we need more attention to humans and to animals, everybody has their take, and there's not faulting anyone. But when we have a plea out that we need help for fostering, consider that it may be more of helping a family versus than just helping the animal. Dubois County Humane Society does everything that we can to work as a community member, and we can't thank enough of our community members who help us out, both financially, physically, volunteering, whatever you do to help us. We are so appreciative, and we wanted to show the connection that even though Paula and I had never met face to face before, we still have the same goal. Let's bring peace and kindness to those that we deal with, and that's what we're after. Correct?
Well said. And as the only agency serving the needs of those impacted by domestic violence and sexual assault, I do want to point out that we are available 24 hours a day through our helpline, and that number, it's an 800 number, 1-800-245-4580. So
excellent. Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to wrap it up, I was going to ask you for contact information, Paula, but you do give the number and so forth on how they can reach you. Any other methods, emails, whatnot?
Email. We have a Facebook page that messages are monitored. If you private message us via Facebook, sometimes that's safer for people than a phone. Or and we have a website also, www.crisisconnectioninc.org. So it's a mouthful.
Okay. Just Google it, folks. That's the beauty of Googling. Well, I tell you what, ladies, thanks so much for joining us today and for a wonderful cause and all the information that you have. This is probably one of the more meaningful, I think, episodes that we've ever done, Donna, and I think there's no question about it. So information on Crisis Connection, as Paula told you, is available by simply going to their website and, of course, giving them a phone call, checking out their Facebook page. And, of course, as we tell you every week, information on the Humane Society is available on their Facebook page and their website, DuboisCountyHumane.org. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned. Weather's next.